Hello everyone, Positron taking a quick look at Curses and Chaos from Tribute Games. They also made Wizorb and... well, it's escaping me right now. Oh, Mercenary Kings is the other game they made. So, Curses and Chaos is kind of an arcade action game. I'm going to let the intro play here. It's got some pretty neat pixel art. It's done in a single screen, very kind of, I wouldn't say really 8-bit aesthetic, but I think it is. Some very nice colors though. And essentially the story, if it matters at all, is just that you play as either Lea or Leo, and you are cursed, swarmed by monsters, and you need to fight back. Basically, you're a couple of badasses, and you're gonna do some of the punching things to try to lift the curse. So, usually in quick looks, I typically do a quick look on a game when I have kind of an overwhelmingly positive view of the game. This is a little bit of a different case. I'm still positive on the game, but there are some flaws with it that I think really stand out, and I want to talk about those a little bit as I go through the video here. Essentially, I feel like this is a game that I would be interested in playing a lot more if those flaws didn't exist. So let's start here. Yeah, so when you begin, first of all, there's no options. Minor quibble, but it would be nice to have options, at least just for screen size. I don't think it needs any other options, to be honest, but volume options are kind of nice too. So we can talk to Allison the Alchemist. What happened to you? Someone put a hex on you? Oh yeah, right. Do this. We try to mix potions yet? I don't remember. I mix a lot of stuff. So she'll give you tips or just have some filler stuff. When she talks about mixing, you can combine items to create other items. And if you look at your grimoire, spoilers for some of the items, I guess, it'll show you all the items that you've seen previously and the combinations to make them. I've probably played this for a couple hours, so you can see kind of, I've got a fair amount of items. Oh, actually, I only have one in the Elixir of Life section though. So that's kind of an interesting thing. I'm not sure what the cursed path is. I guess if you defeat the final boss with or without the Elixir of Life, essentially. In the equip screen, Leo, Lea, and Owly can all carry one item. You can buy and sell in the shop, but let's just get started and I'll talk as we go about the game. So you can choose Lea or Leo. They play exactly the same, they're exactly the same characters. It also does have multiplayer, local and online. I don't know anybody else that has the game right now, so I haven't tried out the multiplayer. It does have public multiplayer, but when I tried it earlier, there wasn't anybody else on, so I didn't get to do that. But let's just get started here. I'm actually going to start in the forest just so I can kind of talk. So this is kind of our main screen. We can punch, we can uppercut, we can do a jump kick, and we can double jump. And as we kill enemies, we can pick up items, and our chain will increase. Your chain determines basically not only your points, but the type of items that will drop. The way your chain drops is you get hit, or a very long amount of time passes. Throw a bear trap down there. I got hit. Let's see, meat will restore some health. 2 for meat. And something you're gonna notice right away, and this is where one of my issues with the game comes in. You'll see me jump kicking a lot, as opposed to doing the standing punch, almost exclusively in some areas. The reason being is that the jump kick does 2 points of damage. Now there are no damage values listed anywhere, but from my experience and knowing like about how much health these things have from playing the game, that the jump kick does 2 points of damage. Like you see, if I punch a frog, it'll take 2 hits, 2 punches, but a jump kick will kill him in 1. The other reason I end up using the jump kick a lot is you can move, of course, while you're doing it, whereas when you punch, you're 100% stationary, and it's got a small animation delay. And I feel like that becomes an issue in controls. I'm actually going to turn the music down ever so slightly. I don't want to make it too quiet because I think the audio visual on the game is actually one of the strongest features of it. I'm actually up to a 30 chain here, which is pretty good. If I get some downtime too, I can show you how you can rack up some score in kind of a funny way. Ah, I lost it. Well, so you can hold down, you can do this little butt wiggle. If you're Leo, you kind of do like a pelvic thrust wiggle. And you'll gain points over time based on your multiplier. Actually taking a lot of damage here. So we can't hit those enemies up there, unfortunately, even with the double jump. They're going to have to wait for them to come down. But I think one of the things that bugs me about the game is that not only is the double jump more powerful, but is also the only way to attack while moving. So in a sense, it almost very rarely makes sense to stand and punch. You can't actually do it much faster. There we go, I can throw that bomb there. You can't actually do it much faster than the double jump, and you're locked in place. There's actually a very big animation delay. Like, I'll actually hold right here. Yeah, I was holding right that whole time. So you can see there's like a big animation delay on being able to move again. And it's one of those things that becomes a little bit of a frustration for me playing the game, where I feel like oftentimes I'm kind of locked in animations more than I'm making I'm gonna get hit here. Oh, no, I'm not making a conscious decision about how I want my character to move. And that's unfortunate. Especially in a game that is very, very frantically paced. Come on, bird. That was just bad placement on my part. So yeah, I feel like I end up taking a lot of damage just being locked into animations. And the other situation that comes into play, which you probably won't see in this level, is the vast majority of flying enemies, they fly around at the very height of your double jump. That being said, that you can't actually reach them without double jumping. And it's kind of one of those things, I talked about this on Twitter probably the day before this video is going up, where I feel a lot of games end up with kind of double jump abuse or double jump fatigue, in that if you have to double jump all the time, it should really only be a single jump. You know, if I'm always having to double jump to reach enemies, I should really only have to single jump. The game should be programmed that your single jump is high enough that you're not doing that. Double jump should either be from maneuverability or platforming. Of course, there is no platforming in the game. Sometimes I think hitboxes are a little wonky. Those are pretty edge cases though, like that last time I got hit there. It didn't really feel like I touched that skeleton, but you know, I'm sure if I look back at the video, I probably did. I'm pretty sure your hitbox is square, so you know it's. Oh, that's a permanent. Well, permanent until you die. Multiplier, which is really nice. See this on example. Even that bird, I have to double jump in order to hit it. So what ends up happening, especially with always using the jump kick, always double jumping, is that I find myself getting my hands just get tired playing the game. Whereas if I didn't always have to jump kick, you know, what if the jump kick was a single button? What if, you know, what if there wasn't so much animation lag that I always felt like I had to jump kick? That's, you know, it's another thing. Oh, there's a shuriken there. There we go. There are a few cases where, you know, double jump does seem like it has a meaning, but they do seem to be not the norm. Have to bait that guy out. So I think on like wave 11 is the boss. We're on wave 7 here. What we can also do is if we want to store an item, and this kind of plays into alchemy and such too, but if I want to store an item, I can press circle on my PS4 controller, and which, by the way, one thing I will give them definite credit for is thank you for having the PS4 buttons on screen. I just got hit there. And that's, you know, that hit, I guess, is another example of, you know, I'm trying to do this kind of wiggly backwards jump kick thing. I'm trying to jump kick in, attack, and back out. Where, again, you know, it feels like if I could just reasonably stand and punch. See, like there, one of the problems with standing and punching is it takes longer, and again, you're animation locked, and the enemies will keep moving, even though they do have a little bit of a stun. You know, I mean, I'm not a game designer. If you change that, would it make the game too easy? I don't think so. I feel like the challenge in the game comes from the fact that it is super hectic, not that you have these animation locks or that you have to utilize your double jump to hit enemies. I feel like the challenge should come in the fact that there's crazy amounts of stuff happening like all the time. The highest chain I've ever gotten was a times, or the highest multiplier I've ever gotten was a ×9. I don't know how many hits that is. It was quite frantic when it happened. If you run out of time, also the Reaper will come, and if he attacks you, it's a one-hit kill. Yeah, I'll eat that apple. There's quite a variety of items, too. So, I mean, I've talked a lot about what I feel are some of the negatives in the games in terms of control. In terms of audio-visual, I think it looks gorgeous. I mean, I know some people are getting tired of pixel art, but I love the art style on this. I think information is represented clearly. I think the game just looks great. Audio-wise, the music is great. It's got this kind of great, very energetic loop. Oh. See, that was a good, actually, representative of when would have liked the double jump to save me. Yeah, the uppercut punches pretty fast, but again, it also has an animation lock. If you see, I can hold the button, and I don't move until quite a bit after the fact. And again, you know, I think it's one of those things that it lends itself to a little more tactical gameplay when you really don't have the opportunity to have tactical gameplay. It's more about frantic movement, and kind of not so much planning out your attacks, but space management. Now, is this something that I think the developers should go and change? Again, you know, here's an example. Like, this loop just is tiresome. It's a lot of button presses. You know, it works, but isn't there a better way? You know, I'm rambling about this now. But, you know, is this something I think the developers should necessarily change? You know, not really. Oh, there's the Reaper, but... Okay, so here's the first boss. The bosses in this game are actually really cool. They're all very pattern-based, but they're all very, very difficult. Again, though, you're going to see me doing this kind of backwards jump kick. Because your attack range is very, very short, and it's very easy if you were just standing in place to get hit. Yeah, while you're fighting bosses, they typically will drop hourglasses too, because it's very easy to run out of time. I'm actually not sure why I'm not hitting him here. Maybe you have to hit the lamp. I forget. You know, and you know, again, good example. I can use the uppercut, but it puts me in danger, and I just can't move fast enough. You know, he doesn't get enough hits done, or any hits done really, because he's a boss. Can't quite reach him there. I want to make sure I'm using... I'm actually going to get my meat back here. Usually I like to save items, or at least save an item for the end, so I can carry one out of the level with me for crafting. Now, those ghosts at the top aren't going to be an issue because I just don't have to actually go up there. Yeah, a bomb is kind of nice. There we go. I'm gonna kill this boss here. No health bars on the bosses. I don't really think that's a huge negative, though I do wish that you got some more indication about when their health was low. Especially because one of the later bosses actually has kind of a new attack he pulls out when his health is low that will catch you off guard. Essentially, if you're not preparing for it, you cannot avoid it. I'll show off one of the later levels. So do I want to show up anything in alchemy? Yeah, in fact, here's a good one. I'm actually going to buy... First of all, I'm going to go into equip. We don't have anything, okay. I'm going to buy 2 clovers. And I will mix them and make a horseshoe. And then I'm going to take a horseshoe with me and use it immediately. This will increase my luck a lot. I believe that just increases my multiplier. So if I take this with me, I can automatically start with a much, much higher multiplier. Let's go to the second level, because I think the second level shows what I'm talking about in terms of double jumps. So I'll use this right away. So immediately have a ×3 multiplier. And that will stay with me, even if I have no chain, as long as I don't get hit. Now, in terms of content, do I feel there's enough content here? Absolutely. Now, I think some people, I've seen some Steam reviews and stuff that's saying, you know, for $15, or sorry, $10, it is not $15, it's $10. For $10, you know, there's not a lot of content. I actually disagree with that a lot. If you're into this type of score attack arcade action game, there are quite a few levels. I think there's, well, I should double check on that, but I've only gotten to the 3rd level so far, and I've played for a couple hours. You know, I think that even aside from going for score attack, I think there are a lot of levels here. All right, we got that frog just in time. Let's get some points. And I kind of like this. I mean, this is kind of amusing too. You know, in difficulty-wise, the game is very difficult. I feel like with a second player, it would be a lot easier, but I got stuck in that animation again. This bird, we're gonna just have to wait. There we go. However, I believe if anybody gets hit, if either player gets hit in multiplayer, that you do lose your chain. So that's a little more difficult too. You'd have to have 2 players really kind of playing their best. Hitboxes, again, a little weird. You know, if I have killed an enemy, it would seem to me like I shouldn't have gotten hit there, but or it would have interrupted my attack. One or the other. Like either I should have gotten hit or they should have gotten hit. There's a lot of edge cases where both will happen. I've noticed too that a lot of times when you kill a goblin with an item, it'll drop a second item. I'm not sure if that's an intentional thing. I'm assuming it is. Almost like, you know, if you wasted it on the lowest level minion, then here you have another one. Here comes a bear. Bear's gonna, you know, make another good example of kind of what's wrong with. There we go. Oh, stuck. Yeah. So I should have planned that one out better. There we go. Oh, we got a gem from this. I'm not sure what that's worth. Probably quite a bit. I don't want to die either, because I'll lose my multiplier. It's another apple. Ooh. That was dangerous. That's some points. I really want some food. Hammer. Oh, why don't you drop some food for me? There we go. Eventually we're going to get some witches, and witches really show what I'm talking about in terms of double jump fatigue. Although, I mean, the skulls kind of show too. I can always wait for them to come down, but... No. Damn. Don't want to lose that multiplier. Again, your multiplier also determines what kind of items drop, how much money drops. Pretty much everything is your multiplier. Which is good. From a difficulty balance standpoint, I think that's good. It really rewards you for good play. Nuts. There we go. Well, there goes my multiplier, unfortunately. Down to 1 here now. Wolves are probably my least favorite enemy. But these witches that we're going to see coming up are pretty close seconds. If you have full health and you use a food item, you just get some points based on your multiplier. Spider time. Not going to hit you. There we go. Nope, didn't need to use 2 of those there. Not sure what wave we're on. Do you see that in the pause menu? No. Bombs are actually a really good item. They have that area effect. It's kind of nice. For the digger beetles, you have to stand still for a brief period of time in order for them to actually pop up. It would be nice too. I mean, it's kind of weird, you know. Sometimes if an enemy's walking away from you, you like to have that forward momentum while you're attacking, so you can actually follow them. But oh, nice, we get 2 clovers there. Pretty lucky. Should have the witches coming soon, I would think. There we go, ×4. I would love to see some people that are really, really good at the game playing it too, because I'd be curious to see how they move, how they attack, things like that. Oh, ×5. I'm going to hold on to this for a little bit. I'm not sure. Oh wow, I'm really surprised I made it through that without taking damage. Potion, I think, is full health. There we go, it's ×6. Alright, what wave are we coming up on now? Wave 7, okay. Alright, here are the witches. So now these witches, you can only hit them at the very peak of your jump. So it takes a long time to kill them, and it's very, very tiring on the fingers with everything else going on. They also fire out these kind of homing beams. So if you end up having one of those fired off, it becomes very, very difficult to continue to attack them. I'm actually going to start taking a lot of damage here, I think. Because I can't, yeah. Let's get them here. They will also summon frogs. I think that might have already happened. Yeah, there we go. So you can see things get pretty hectic pretty fast. I might just be dead here. There we go. I actually got 2 of them there. They do have a lot of health. They have about 6 health. If you consider a jump attack is 2 damage, they have about 6 health. Here comes the Reaper. I gotta watch out. Now, you can actually avoid the Reaper. But if he does attack and does hit you, you will die. There we go, we did make it. So again, you know, I think that's kind of my main complaint about the controls there. Fighting those witches is very, very tiring in terms of the button presses required for it. And, you know, ultimately, is it a bad game as a result? No. I've obviously put some time, a lot of time into it before I made this video. Putting the time in it to make this video. I still have fun with the game, but I feel like I probably won't play a lot of the later levels as a result, just because it's very, very tiring on the hands. And can be frustrating at times, too, as a result. Not necessarily because of the chaos or the difficulty, but just that getting locked in animations or having to double jump all the time is kind of a bummer. So ultimately, I mean, again, you know, this has kind of been a big Positron rant, but I think it kind of shows the strengths and weaknesses of the game. Kind of just using these items up just to get some points. I don't think using items like that increases your multiplier. That'd be kind of neat if it did, though. see if I can, can I reach this one? I can reach it with a single jump. That just feels so much better. But it's very rare you see one come down that low. We're on wave 10. I would like to show off the second boss if possible. I don't know if I'll end up beating the second boss, but... this has been kind of a long video as a result. Throw that at you. I will say too, I do like the item gameplay. I think that's kind of fun too. Originally I was a little down on, you know, oh, you can only carry one item, and so it seems like crafting is tough, but it's kind of neat. It's kind of frantic in terms of, you know, you always want to, since you can only hold one item, you always want to be using them. Here, you can have that apple. My Owly friend, who's actually named Owly. This is gonna cause me a problem here. I got this ground beetle. There we go. I'm probably gonna get caught by the Reaper, actually. Let's see if I can outsmart him. The trouble is I'm gonna have to stay still here for a second to get this guy to come up. There we go. Alright, so here's the boss. Wave 11 boss time. Again, I'm doing this because if I stay still, it's very likely I'll get caught by the swipe that he does. This boss, when I beat it, I actually, you don't really end up having a multiplier on these either, because it runs out. When I beat this boss, I actually died to the Reaper. I ran out of time, because he got locked into a pattern where he was no longer firing these fireballs. So there's a good example, you know, I can see him wind up, but he actually winds up and swipes faster than my lockdown animation goes. In fact, let's see if I can show that off a little bit. No, yeah, I guess I'm at the very edge of my hitbox. It kind of works. Now, chances are I'm not going to make it out of this fight alive. Now, if you get the Reaper with full lives, I don't know if that automatically ends your run, or what's he doing here? Again, that was another case, you know, I thought I jumped over that, but it seems like my my hitbox got caught there. Again, kind of goes to the fact that you have this very big square hitbox, which, you know, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but maybe it should be a little smaller. Alright, what is he gonna do here? So this is where I'm gonna run into trouble. I think he's at low health now, so he's gonna do this attack repeatedly. Which means he's not gonna drop any more time things. But I don't know how much health he has. Yeah, here comes the Reaper, unfortunately. Yep, there we go. Oh, and I actually just bumped the USB on my controller here. So, there we go. So, yeah, that's Curses and Chaos. Again, mixed opinions on it. This is kind of a long video, more of a longer quick look. I enjoy the game, but I'm not sure how much more I'll play as a result. Let's see how many stages there are. Wow, actually a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's 13. That's actually a lot of stages. I don't know if there's any repetition later on, but that's a lot of levels. So there's definitely a lot to do in the game. So yeah, again, it's on Steam. It's $10. Your mileage may vary. If you're into that sort of thing, I think it does a lot of things right. But I would note that controls can be a little stiff, and you should be aware of that before you jump into it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click like, helps a lot. Subscribe if you want to see more. See you soon.